So hello, welcome back to the Villa View for another video. It is time to preview Aston Villa's game against Nottingham Forest at the City Ground tomorrow evening, and we're joined by Forever Forest TV to do that.
Hello guys.
Hi guys, right?
So guys, it's a big game for both teams, obviously contrasting seasons in terms of ownership and everything like that, but what can we sort of expect from Forest?
If we'd have gone back probably about 3 weeks ago, I'd have said we'd have probably been a team that tries for the first half and then kind of capitulates into the second half and just shows no fight whatsoever. But since we've actually sacked Philippe Montagnier and we've got Gary Brazil in from the youth setup, who's actually a very good coach, along with Jack Lester, they just seem to have brought the dignity and the morals back to Forest of a hard-working team, and it's really come to fruition in the last three games or so. Obviously against Leeds we lost 2-0, but from all accounts we actually gave Leeds a really good game until we just completely tired out after 60 minutes. So I'd say you can expect a really hard battling Forest team to play here tomorrow, and I'd be fully expecting them to be up for it, even though we have got new players come in, but I'm not too sure if all of them will be making any appearances.
Well, that's the main point you touched on. Obviously, you've signed Ross McCormack from us and Aaron Tishbone on loan, but they're obviously not going to be part of the team. What are the players going to be that you're going to, for Villa fans to look out for? Obviously, you've signed Zach Clough on deadline day. I thought it's a fantastic piece of business.
I think players you've got to probably look out for in terms of us is probably Jamie Ward for his nastiness a little bit. He's going to probably be the player to wind you guys up. Obviously, I spoke to Dan yesterday, and he said about Lansbury doing that. Now, because we've brought Ward back, he's probably that player to do that. But also, you've got to watch out for Ben Osborne, who's just tireless. Matty Cash is the same sort of player, and he got injured, unfortunately, against Villa. And I think that was almost a reason that our bad form kind of started after the Villa game, because we lost that tenacity and that energy in midfield from Matty Cash. And he's someone that likes to press very high and get in people's faces and put a tackle in.
Yeah, he will definitely be putting you on the back foot in your half. He'll be that player that puts that pressure on, say if he's playing on the right side, he'll be putting that pressure on your left midfield, on your left back and left centre back. So you've got to be careful with him.
And obviously Britta Sambalonga.
Yeah, that goes without saying. He's one of the best strikers in the league, and that's not being biased either.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is one of the best there is around. Obviously for Aston Villa, 3-0 defeat on deadline day to Brentford in embarrassing fashion, in fairness. Steve Bruce has said that he's going to ring the changes. He's expected to change his formation as well. I'm predicting a 4-4-2 lineup in that case, with Sam Johnston in goal, with the right back James Bree, debutant in the centre. I'm expecting Nathan Baker alongside James Chester, who's been really solid recently, apart from against Brentford where he sort of let us down very much so. At left back, I'm expecting it to be Neil Taylor. Jordan Martha's been off form. I know he's a guy that terrorised you, I think, from what I can remember. I think it was one of his first games back when we played you at home and he terrorised you, but it's going to be Neil Taylor at left back, I'd imagine so, and I imagine it's going to be 4-4-2 with Conor Hourihane and Henry Lansbury, the old foe in midfield. I'll come on to him very much so in a second. At right mid, I'm expecting Albert Adoma. Left mid, Jack Grealish. Then up top, we're expecting David and Scott Hogan to start alongside Jonathan Codger. The main point for me is Henry Lansbury. Obviously, we're signing from you in January. What is he taking away from Forest that he's bringing to Villa?
A massive amount of creativity. The guy's got a wand of a right foot. He's given time on the ball. He will pick a defence apart with a killer pass. His passing range is incredible for this league. I doubt there's many as good as him in this league at what he does there. He's also a very nasty player, which you'll come to realise. He's not scared of getting stuck in, and he picks up too many yellow cards. He'll often find himself suspended a lot with us. But that's not for the want of trying to get the team going, if you want to put it in another way. But Henry Lansbury was pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, over the last 2 to 3 years, a player that was expected to carry Forest, a bit like Steven Gerrard did with them poor Liverpool teams, even though he got to the Champions League final with them. I know it's no comparison, but it's that sort of thing. But I just think Lansbury is a special player, but I don't think that now we've made some of the signs we've made, are going to miss him as much as I thought we were.
I think it's just about someone stepping into his shoes almost. Lansbury was a player that if the manager let him off his leash, then he would get forward and get into the penalty box and score plenty of goals. I mean, he scored a hat-trick against Barnsley, and it just shows that when he's got a licence to get forward and roam, then he's a very dangerous player in any team. And I think, unfortunately, at Forest, we never really had a settled team. We've never had the settled backroom staff, and obviously it comes down from the owner as well. And I think Lansbury's probably best season for us was under a season under Benny Davis. And I think Lansbury was probably, that's why we were critical of him being in and out of games a lot of the time.
Are Forest fans bitter?
Bitter to what? In what way? Bitter towards who?
Towards Lansbury moving?
No, not all. Not for the majority that I've seen. I think obviously on social media you get the people that put the snake emojis on everything. But apart from that, I wouldn't say there's that much bitterness, because at the end of the day, the guy was out of contract in 5 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and it was looking more and more like he was actually going to stay with us, which at the time it was like we sort of needed the money in a way, because of the turmoil the club was in, and there was no way there was any contracts going to be offered around, because at the time Montagnier was still in charge, and I don't think he was willing to put contracts out there, and I don't think our owner was willing to put any contracts out there.
He was in the middle of a takeover as well.
Yeah, in the middle of a takeover, which actually collapsed. So there was loads of stuff going on. So I can't personally blame him for moving. I probably would have done at the time.
I think with Lansbury as well, considering what the rumoured wages he's on at Aston Villa, I don't think we could have really afforded to pay him.
I don't think I want to pay a player that in this league.
No. So I'm not bitter for him going. I think it's a good move in terms of he's stepping up a level, in all honesty.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
do think Villa have got a better squad than us.
Well, Villa have the more realistic aspirations of getting to the Premier League, albeit this season's a bit of a non-starter for you guys now, in a way. But you've definitely got the aspirations and the squad to potentially build on next season and get automatic promotion.
Well, that's the matter I'm coming on to now, is the fact that what do you make about Villa's season, obviously, so far? It's been, best words to describe it, it's not even below par, it's been dire.
Well, you're asking people that have got even below par on you, do you know what I mean? Like, we're even worse than you this season. But to be fair, was it Villa we actually predicted to come mid-table?
Yeah.
We actually predicted during our beginning of the season video and what we thought was going to go down, and we said that Villa would come mid-table. We thought they would come around where you are now. And I don't know why we thought that, to be honest with you, but it's kind of come true. I mean, obviously coming down from the Premier League last season, you guys really struggled. But coming into this league, I didn't know whether that would have a knock-on effect on some of your players having such low confidence. Yeah, coming into this season, and it clearly has. Even though you made quite a few signings, it's still lingering, sort of, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. So, what are your actual predictions for the game tomorrow evening?
I personally think I'd be happy with a point, and I think it probably will be a draw, because I think Forest, although we've not been great at home for the last 2 games and we've won, I just think that fighting spirit will carry on, hopefully, because we've installed a lot of championship experienced players, like Jack Hobbs has come back into the squad. We've finally got Danny Pinillos fit and ready at left
We've
back.
got a balanced back four, completely balanced back four.
And
now.
I think we look a lot more solid and we look more together as a group. And I think the protests have slightly calmed down because of the signings, but I still think there is that sort of hatred. And I think because the supporters are united in that sort of front, I think it's kind of become like almost a slight 12th man. But there's not still been a rubbish atmosphere at the City.
Yeah, it's been awful. But I do think that, like, off the back of, I don't know, we've won our last 2 home games, and then we've made on deadline day we've made these quite brilliant signings for Forest at the moment. I think there's just a bit more of a buzz around the fans. I think they're more excited to see what they can bring, and I don't know. I mean, score prediction wise, I'm probably going to go for a 1-1 because we've been quite solid recently at the back, but I can still see both teams scoring, so I think I'll go for a 1-1.
Well, I'd have said a draw in fairness, given our away form and our recent run of form in fairness. But I think something's got to give for Villa in terms of making progress. I think we've got worked out we need about 13 wins to actually go up this season. I think something will give soon and something will click. And I think potentially it could be Saturday because of the intensity of the game is. Because for some reason, I know it's not classed as a proper derby, but let's face it, it's the two biggest teams out of the East Midlands and West Midlands. It's the two biggest sides head-to-head, and I think there's a lot of history between them in that sense and the past. So to me, a high-intensity game, and I can see us winning. I think Henry Lansbury could tip us over the edge in terms of the knowledge that he may have.
Obviously, you guys are going to think Henry Lansbury is going to tip it in your favour, but I've got a feeling that Henry Lansbury could boil over in this game, knowing what he's like, watching him for the last 5-6 years. It's
the occasion could get to him.
It's one of them games that Henry Lansbury could actually boil over in, and obviously we hope he does in a way. But he is a magician. He is a very good footballer. He's warranted his move to a bigger club in my eyes, and he could well turn it on against us.
Well, we'll soon see anyway. I'm going to predict a Villa win, as I said, 2-0 with Scott Hogan at the double on his debut. So we have got a prediction league on the Villa View at the moment. Go to the app. The link is in the description below, so everyone can get involved with the prediction league that the Villa View have got at the moment. Cheers to Forever Forest for joining me today.
Cheers, guys.
So if you have enjoyed the video, then please do drop us a like below, and also comment on what you think the score's going to be. Get your predictions in below, and also subscribe to the Villa View and Forever Forest with your post notifications on.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.